The house loomed in an oppressive silence after the funeral, each shadow thick with the weight of memories, echoing the haunting absence of a life that had so cruelly slipped through their fingers. As I sat in the dim light of the dining room, the shadows danced around me, and my gaze fixated on the half-finished cup of coffee before me. A chilling sense of despair enveloped me, leaving me feeling more adrift than I had ever imagined possible. The suffocating embrace of solitude clung to me, a dense and merciless shroud that obscured all light. As the darkness threatened to engulf me, a gentle yet ominous knock echoed through the silence, shattering the stillness of the night. With a heart pounding in my chest, I hesitated before opening the door, only to be met by my son's best friend. His eyes, dark and stormy, held a secret that sent a chill down my spine, a revelation that would alter the course of our lives forever. The instant my eyes fell upon him, a chilling tremor coursed through my very being. Caleb, my son's best friend, appeared transformed beneath the flickering glow of the porch light, casting shadows that danced ominously around him. He had transformed, shedding the skin of the lanky teenager who once prowled our kitchen like a hungry ghost, devouring everything in sight before collapsing in a heap on the living room floor, lost in the haze of video game battles that stretched into the night. Now, he loomed, a figure of imposing stature, broad-shouldered and resolute, his face etched with the gravity of a man who had traversed the shadows of existence and bore the heavy burden of its truths. In that fleeting moment, silence enveloped us, thick and heavy, as if the air itself held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. The night air enveloped us, heavy with unspoken truths that crackled like electricity, each breath a reminder of the tension that simmered just beneath the surface. "Text, I am sorry for your loss," he finally said, his voice resonating with a depth that sent shivers down my spine, more grounded than I remembered, as if the weight of his words could shift the very air around us. I nodded, my voice trapped in a silence thick with unspoken fears. Grief had seized everything from me, my husband, my laughter, my very sense of belonging. And now, it threatened to silence me completely, stealing away my voice in the shadows of despair. Caleb shifted uneasily, his grip tightening around the small container in his hand, as if it held the weight of the world within its fragile walls. With a glint of uncertainty in his eyes, he extended his hand, revealing a humble, yet enigmatic casserole, crafted with care and shrouded in mystery. It was a gesture so small, yet it loomed larger than life, crashing through the delicate barriers I had painstakingly erected within my soul. "Thank you," I breathed, my voice barely a whisper as I stepped aside, the air thick with anticipation, allowing him to cross the threshold into the unknown. The house engulfed him in a heartbeat, as if it craved the very essence of life and sound, ready to consume all that dared to enter its dark embrace. He placed the casserole on the kitchen counter with a deliberate slowness, turning to face me, his expression a canvas of worry that spoke volumes. "How are you holding up?" he asked, his voice a whisper that cut through the silence, his gaze piercing into mine with an intensity that made my heart race. In that moment, I felt exposed, as if he could unravel the tangled web of my thoughts, truly seeing me for the first time in what felt like an eternity. I forced a smile, one that lacked warmth and humor, a mere mask concealing the turmoil within. "Surviving," I whispered, my voice trembling with the weight of the moment. Caleb paused, his breath hitching in his throat, and then, in a shocking twist, he reached out, his fingers brushing against my hand, igniting a spark that sent shivers down my spine. Not in a momentary, perfunctory manner, but in a profound, unwavering way that sent a jolt of electricity surging through my very core. A fierce battle raged within me, a desperate urge to withdraw into the shadows of my sorrow, yet an unyielding force clawed at my insides, refusing to let me escape. The connection was essential, a lifeline I desperately sought in the shadows of uncertainty. In the depths of despair, I found myself yearning for a voice, a presence, anything to pierce the suffocating silence that enveloped me. I craved a reminder that I still existed, that life pulsed through my veins, even as shadows threatened to consume me whole. "Do you want me to stay for a bit?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper, a hint of vulnerability lacing his words, as if the very act of asking could shatter the fragile moment between them. As I surveyed the desolate house, my gaze fell upon the photo frames clinging to the walls like ghosts of the past. A suffocating silence enveloped me, its oppressive weight bearing down with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Indeed, I have uttered those words before, a warning echoing in the shadows of my mind, where the weight of contemplation looms heavy and relentless. In the shadow of desperation, a single word hangs in the air, heavy with unspoken pleas. The silence thickens, anticipation crackling like electricity, as the heart races, yearning for a response. Will the echo of that simple request be met with compassion or indifference? The tension mounts, and the world holds its breath, waiting for the answer that could change everything. We stepped into the living room, a realm steeped in an unsettling blend of warmth and lingering sorrow, where shadows danced and whispered secrets of the past. Caleb perched on the edge of the couch, a tense figure shrouded in uncertainty, while I nestled into the opposite end, clutching a throw blanket tightly over my lap, as if it could shield me from the impending storm of unspoken words that hung heavily in the air. For what felt like an eternity, we remained frozen in place, the air thick with tension. The only sounds piercing the silence were the low, ominous hum of the refrigerator and the unsettling creaks of the ancient house, as if it were whispering secrets from the shadows. It was uncanny how instinctive it felt to have him by my side, a fragile connection spanning the chasm between the life I had irrevocably lost and the shadowy, unpredictable future that loomed ominously before me. Our conversation began innocently enough, drifting through the trivialities of life, his new job, the transformations of the neighborhood that had unfolded in his absence. But beneath the surface, an unspoken tension lingered, hinting at deeper currents waiting to be explored. Then, slowly, the conversation began to plunge into the depths of uncharted territory. He leaned closer, his voice a low whisper, probing into the shadows of my heart. "What do you miss most about your husband?" he inquired, the weight of his question hanging in the air like a storm cloud, ready to unleash the tempest of my memories. It was a seemingly innocuous question, yet it unleashed a torrent of emotions within me, shattering the calm facade I had carefully constructed. In a moment of vulnerability, I unleashed the secrets I had long imprisoned within, trembling at the thought of their overwhelming power to shatter me. I recounted the echoes of laughter that pierced the stillness of the night, the hushed mornings that held secrets in their silence, and the fleeting glances that spoke volumes, laden with unspoken truths. Caleb stood in silence, his heart pounding, absorbing every word that hung in the air like a fragile thread.